Hello, welcome back to Hitch to the Stitch. I've got a big video today, wrapping up. I've got 30 or so free gift knitting patterns. So as we're approaching the holiday seasons and thinking about possibly gift knitting for some of our friends and families, I've got, all of the patterns are going to be free. So, because it can get quite expensive making for people, and if you buy a pattern then it's just adding to the cost when we likely already have cost from the yarn, and people don't realize how expensive that can be. You're spending all the money and then putting all the time into their present. So a lot of the ideas I have are actually, a lot of them are a bit scrap busty, so that or they're on larger gauges and you can mix and match scraps. But I just thought that would be a way to make it more budget friendly. Now if I look down over here in my lab, I've got some notes for all the patterns that I'm going to share for you today. So without further ado, I'll get into the first one. So I've kind of got, actually first I have sort of three main categories. We've got accessories, or I've only got one item of clothing, because in terms of like a top or something like that, because I think gift knitting for people, it's a lot of effort, and if you're generous enough to make them a top or a sweater, then that's amazing. But I think especially if you're looking at a video about this now, you might not have time to do anything like that. So I've got a range of things. Most of the projects are DK and above, so a little bit quicker on the needles. The first one I have is called the Lumi Kuka knitted gloves. They're really delicate and feminine, and they are a DK on 5mm, and they use about 260 meters of yarn. The pattern is only in English, but I just think they're really pretty, even though they're full-fingered, really pretty gloves, and a bit special as a gift, something that someone wouldn't be able to go out and buy. So I really like that about them. The next one is also a mitten, but these are fingerless. So I think if you're not willing to go for the full fingers, then I think fingerless mitts are a really good way to go. And they're, again, a little bit special. They've got some cables. They're called the Eleonora mitts. So they're on their sport weight gauge, 3mm, with 108 to 122mm yarn usage. So I think, again, they're a little bit special, got something interesting to them, but you're not knitting all the fingers. There's two more mitts that I have. So one is called the Log Cabin mitts. I think they're great scrap busters. It's kind of got color blocking moments throughout the mitts, which I think is a really interesting design detail, and you could do so many colorful things or mix and match different yarns, because it's on a worsted weight gauge with 4mm needles, and takes about 100 meters of yarn. So I think you could do so many colorful interesting things, or you could do team sports, or I think a mix of neutrals. Like there's a black and white and sort of grayish and beige sample, I think is really nice. But you could also just do a whole bunch of neutrals. Someone that's really into their neutral look, it could be different colors of like oatmeal or something like that, and I think that would be a really nice effect. Or if someone's really into pink, just different bits of pink or blue or whatever it is. I think they offer a really fun project, and interesting thing for the knitter as well as for the person receiving them, which is going to get a really unique gift with that one. The last one I have is it's really cute, just in case you have a baby in your life. They're called the Vetla, I guess, baby mittens. And I just couldn't go past them. They're too adorable with the little color work. I can't imagine they'd take long to make. And if you have just a tiny amount of yarn, then it's a perfect way to go. If there's been family, like a baby in the family over the past year, maybe that's a nice gift. And if they're a little bit older, maybe toddler size, you could just go up in the weight gauge. I'm not sure, I didn't check the weight on this one, but you could just go up and up a needle size, and it'll probably fit a larger kid. So I think they're super cute. Moving on from mittens, I've got a couple of socks to show you. So again, I've stuck with the ones that are going to be quicker knits because honestly for me, getting into a sock knitting project, it takes, I wouldn't know, but probably I generally quote about 20 hours. I'm not the fastest knitter on socks and I often do really detailed ones, but these are all on bigger gauge or just less of the actual sock. So the first one is on a bulky weight gauge with 5mm needles, and it's got this gorgeous cable. It's called the Tauco cable socks. I just think they'd be really lush and squishy on that worsted gauge with a little bit of rib and the cables up the side. I think they're really interesting, and I think very different to store-bought socks. Like they're a whole different gauge, whole different weight, and I think they'd be a really nice gift for someone. I think would work out really, really quickly. So yeah, and I think it would be easier to fit as well because you've got the rib and the cable and on that squishy big yarn. I think it would be easier to fit a sock for someone in case you weren't sure about their exact sizing or the perfect size. The next ones I have for you is called the Hop, Skip and a Jump socks. So I think they're really cute. They're ankle socks. I don't usually knit ankle socks, but there's 2 ankle socks that I have here because a lot quicker to knit. When you do the full leg, it almost, yeah, it's at least a third of the time is doing the leg. So these Hop, Skip and a Jump are just end at the ankle, but they have a really cute detail and make them very special. I think you could play with colours there. I think a really hot pink or something would be really nice as the colour accent detail. And I think, yeah, again, it's a really special little sock and it has a whole range of sizes. Like it's got from toddler through to up. So you could even, it's an easier way to say if you wanted to knit socks for the family. I do quite like knitting socks, but I don't often knit socks for people because it just takes so long. So that's why I've got these ideas on my mind and how to make a sock knitting journey a little bit quicker. So I think they are quite cute and would also be a good scrap buster. And then the next one I have is the Weekend Shorty socks. So they're fingering weight yarn and use about 208 meters, but they're fun, they're playful. You can mix and match lots of different colors from any of your other projects, any other fingering weight projects. You can add the yarn here. And I just think they are really effective and not like anything else someone would have. And I think the recipient of a sock like this would be very happy. The last pair of socks that I have for you is actually a crochet project. They are called the Perfect Pair of Crochet Socks. They're fingering weight yarn with 256 to 274 meters. And generally crochet is quicker than knitting. So I think this project would fly by. Again, super low ankle socks, and they're a little bit different, a little bit interesting. I guess I'm saying that about too many things, but yeah, I think they're a really fun project if you're even wanting to try out crochet or, you know, try something a little bit different to knitting. I think these would go really quickly. The next items I have are some cowls. There's 2 cowls. One is called the Easy Peasy cowl, and I like this one because again, it's Aran weight, it's 4 to 5mm needles, and it uses about 180 to 225 meters of yarn. However, I think with cowls, you don't have to be too specific on gauge, so you don't need a gauge test or anything like that. It could be a very Christmassy present if you are in the Northern Hemisphere and going into, or in winter. I am coming into summer, so I'm wearing my knit t-shirt from, it's called the Clover Tee. And yeah, I really like this, but it's far too hot. I tried to put on a jumper before and I just couldn't do it. It's very warm here in Melbourne. We've had some 30-degree days. So I'm not thinking cowl for myself. But I think if you are where there is snow or it's just really cold, it'd be really nice. And I think it'd be a nice present for someone that if you love going to the snow together or you go snowboarding or skiing, I think it's very well suited for that. And you could get a color changing yarn that yeah, sort of has that, what's it called? not sure exactly what it's called, but when it goes from one color to another, the gradient sort of yarn rather than variegated is what I'm thinking. And it changes color throughout, so you don't have to do so much work. Yeah, I think on such a big gauge, you could mix and match, even like hold 2 strands of different color yarn together, and it could be an interesting effect. The next cowl that I have an idea for is called the Pick and Mix. It has lots of different blocks of different color work, and I think this one would be great to use lots of different scrap yarn as well. It's a very special cowl. I think the way that it's made, the fact that this is a free pattern is really cool because it's got so much detail, and I think, yeah, I think this one is for a special person. It's on light fingering, so it is a bit more of effort as well with all of the color changing. It uses about 500 to 750 meters. If you've got a lot of fingering weight yarn that is scraps, this could be a really good way to push that into this project, and you'd get a really individual, fun, beautiful, really special color work piece. I think whoever received that would be very lucky. Moving on from cowls, I'll talk about some hats or beanies, as we call them here in Australia. There is the Marshmallow Beanie by Kudavakika, and it's super bulky yarn. It's very quick. I've actually made one, and I've just got to put on a pom-pom on the top, and the pattern that she or the sample that she has is just one color, but I've used 2 colors, and maybe it's difficult to see. You've got a light blue and then this purple, and I've just done some color work essentially, so it's going to be extra warm as well, because on the inside you can see I've got these floats essentially. I'm going to do a nice big pom-pom on top. I've got my hair up at the back, but so you can see I've got some ends to weave in as well, but I think it's super cute. And I really like this one. It was very quick and easy to whip up. A little bit longer with the color work and passing one over the other each time. But for the bottom, I just did the purple, and I've actually made another one with just blue at this section. And that would be a nice way of like having maybe matching beanies with someone. So this is a pretty cool one. Very quick, easy, looks cute. If you're going to the snow, it's a nice project to make. I have one more beanie called the Easy Peasy Hat that I was referring to before. It's DK weight on 3 to 4 millimeter needles. Uses 160 to 200 meters of yarn, and it's a really, I think a really good stash buster. And could be nice with, one of those color changing cakes. Just a very cute, playful beanie. The next one I have is on my list is the Italian, so the Italian knitter, she does like a whole host of this range, and she has made all the patterns free. So it's the Italian bandana or the scarf that I'm thinking of. It's like garter stitch with, I'm assuming some slip stitches to make the eyelets, and it's very effective. And she just says you can start one way, use half of your yarn, whatever stash or whatever amount of yarn that you start with. The bandana would be a really good one if you've just got a little bit left in stock and you just want to use it all up. And so you knit to halfway or halfway weighing the ball, and then you decrease and do the same thing, so you can use up all of your yarn. I think that's a pretty cool idea, and you could even combine colors to make it go further for a light fingering weight, because I think that's on a DK weight for the bandana and the scarf is worsted weight. So I think they're super easy but effective and very adjustable. I think that's what's so good about that pattern. And you could make it with wool or cotton, depending on where someone lives. So I think that one's a good one to use for exact quantities of yarn when you need something to get out of your stash. The next one I have on my list is the Dahlia hair bow tie. I think it's quite whimsical. It uses 2 strands of lace, and it's 44 to 101 meters, they say. And it's just pretty cute and feminine. If someone's got that sort of a style, I think it's a nice nice thing to make. So, and I don't think it would take long either. It's just very pretty. Another hair accessory is the Soho scrunchie. I love this pattern. I'm actually wearing one right now that I knitted, and I've knit I think about 4 of these. Basically, when I use my sock yarns and knit socks, I don't finish the sock at all, like the ball. I've got plenty left over. One of my fingering weight balls that I have left, I've made 2 or 3 scrunchies out of it, and I've still got more. I've still got plenty. I'm gonna make up maybe some Christmas tree decorations or something like that. So yeah, that one is a really good project. It's very easy. It uses up just a bit of stash, and it's a really nice little extra gift. Doesn't take too long. I also have on my list a few more accessories. The simple knit tote. It is worsted weight and uses about 353 meters of yarn on a 5mm needle. I think you could sew in a nice lining. I like this one because I'm going into summer, so I'd probably use a cotton or something like that. But if you're going into winter, you could, what I like about this one is that it's so basic. I think it's just stocking net, and you could use, what are they called? That fluffy yarn that, if I remember its name, I'll put it on the screen, but I don't know, that fluffy yarn, or you could use a tweed yarn would be really nice, or something like that. And sew in a really interesting lining or just a basic lining. I think there's lots of options, and would be a nice appreciated gift. I have another tote in mind, the Kit and Caboodle tote. I think it has a really interesting pattern to the stitches, and yeah, it's quite effective. Nice little tote. It's a worsted weight gauge and uses about 288 meters of yarn. Can't go wrong with a tote, I think. The last, not accessory, but what I have here, the last sort of clothing piece, is the summer top. It's called Summer Top Margarita. It is, and the reason why I put this one in is because it's Aran weight, it's 5mm, uses 200 to 400 meters of yarn, is stocking net stitch, and would just be super quick to whip up for someone, maybe a sister or something. Yeah, I think they would appreciate this. Sister, mum, grandma. It's a very versatile top that I think would suit a lot of people, and is a quick knit, but then you're able to make a garment. So I thought I'd add that one in here, and it's very similar to some of the other popular patterns at the moment, the Sabai top, the I can't remember all their names, but this sort of style has been around and about recently, and it's just simple, nice. For me, it's very summery, so I like that at the moment. That's what I'm thinking about. It's a good, yeah, handmade knit object for someone. The next one I have in mind is these ones are all home-based or something like that. So this one is a hot water bottle cover. It's DK weight. It's quick, 170 to 200 meters. So you'd use an entire, just one DK weight skein to use up, and it'll be easy to stitch and stitch a message or do some easy color work on. So maybe you wanted to put some color work into a name, or double stitch over to make a message or something like that, or even just add your own color work sections. I think this is a very versatile pattern for that. So I would recommend this one. I would like to make this for my mum at some point. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that before Christmas, we'll see. The next one I have in mind is the tin ceiling washcloth, and if you've seen any of my podcast videos recently, you would have seen me make one of these, but now I've made some more. So this was a present for someone, and it's got a I-cord hook there, so it can hang like this, and it's just really beautiful, very effective, very beautiful, has a lot going on there, so I think it's quite striking. I've made also one of the hand towels or face towels, and yeah, I've also made another one which I haven't weaved in all the ends for yet, but this is a matching set for someone. So I think that is a really cool washcloth idea, just because It's quite interesting to do, but also it's very effective visually. And it's worsted weight gauge. I don't know if I had worsted, I wouldn't say I had worsted weight gauge. Maybe an Aran or DK. No, DK. I don't know, maybe it was worsted. Who knows? Anyway, but you could really go with anything, and you just add more sections of the pattern if you wanted a thinner yarn, or less sections of the pattern if you wanted something thicker, or you can just go bigger. The next idea I have is another washcloth. I just think they're really fun. People don't buy really nice things that are simple, like washcloths and stuff for home. So I think something special handmade is actually a really cool idea. This is the colourful half and half washcloth. It's a sport weight on 3.25mm needles. I just think the colours are great, and you can colour block it in really fun ways, use lots of scrap yarn, can't go wrong. And again, you don't need to worry whether it's sport or DK, or you could do fingering, whatever weight, or hold two fingering pieces together to make sport, to make DK weight. There's plenty of options with that one. The next one I have is, again, a home piece, the sunburst pot holder. I like to have little pot holders when I put my hot dishes from the oven. I like to host a lot and have people over for dinner, and so I like to have, I've got a table runner at the moment, but I'd like little pot holders for the hot stuff. So I think this one's pretty. It's DK, only uses 87 meters of yarn, so you could definitely, you know, this is a total scrap buster, and that's 87 meters with, I'm assuming, both colors, so split that in half, you definitely have like some DK weight yarn lying around that would fit that need perfectly, I think. So I think that's a really fun one. And if you ever feel like it's not enough just giving one, you could do a stack of 3 or something like that. I think would be really cute, and then people can lay them across the table. The next one I have is vanilla chai cup cozies. They are worsted weight, 3.75mm, and use only 31 to 93 meters of yarn. I really like these because you could give them to different family members and make different ones for each family member if you just wanted to give something, even a little something, to everyone that was handmade. But you couldn't, maybe you didn't have enough time or yarn or whatever it is to make someone something individually, or you're worried about someone feeling left out. If they're a coffee drinker, maybe this is, you know, if you're a coffee drinking family, maybe this is a good idea for you. This next one, I love. My friend, she crocheted these for me a couple of years ago, and I've got to make more because they're getting a bit older now. But I super recommend these stitched up makeup scrubbies. They're Aran weight, or really whatever weight you want to go for, on 4.5mm hook. I use actually we use the same yarn as this, or similar. It's a cotton yarn, the yarn we used was cotton. Anyway, great. I've given this to my sister as well before. It is the perfect present, I've got to say. If your mum or your sister or your grandma uses makeup, this is a really good way to save the environment. And you just chuck it in the wash, give them a stack of 5 or something like that, and it's really pretty if they're all different colors, and then you put some ribbon around it as part of the gift. I think I gave them I also made my sister a makeup pouch last year, sewing. So I think that's a really pretty, fun present that will get used all the time. And maybe at first, if they're not stoked at first, they will be, in a month or 2 when they've actually been using it, and it's great. So I would highly recommend that. No more, I don't like to use the wipes that go on my face in the bin. I don't know if I've never bought any anyway. So I like this, just water, use this, gets dirty, chuck it in the wash, Bob's your uncle. So that one's a really good one. Another one that I haven't really got too many ornaments, but this is like a 2-in-1 as well, these sock ornaments. So there's 2 that I have here. The first one is called the mini Christmas stocking ornament something. And they've got really cute Christmas designs on these small, tiny fingering weight little stockings. And the reason why I like these ones, or the tiny tree socks, is because you could put someone's name inside it and put it on the present. And then they can use it as a ornament for the next year, because sometimes maybe making an ornament for someone, it's just a fun way to say, here's an extra present with your present. So I like those, and again, great. I'm gonna make some of these for sure. That and the tiny mini crop puffer ornament, like that's not part of my list, but that's also a good one. I think that's also a free pattern, so may as well make it a part of the list. They're really good little ornaments that you can put and say this color is yours and this color is yours, or whatever. Or you can, in the mini crop puffer, you could put in like a, say your sister's name, like mine starts with C, I could put in a C and even make it a bit more Harry Potter themed and do the Harry Potter colors as like C. That is the end of that theme. The next one we're coming into is more like theme. So if someone's really into any of these, I've got some ideas that are just more fun, playful. So the first one is Harry Potter themed. So I've got the Harry Potter book scarf. If your friend or loved one is a big reader and they love Harry Potter, like my sister, I'd like to make this for her at some point. It's a Harry Potter book scarf, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, just fun, an extra little present. Maybe if you're getting them a book, this is a perfect present to go with them if you're getting them a book. Or if they're really into a sports team or something like that, you could do the sports team scarf. Yeah, I think that's just a really fun, easy, quick, playful present that, yeah, would go with a book. That's a good one. The next one I have is a little bit more detailed than that for Harry Potter, but they're beautiful, and they're called the Patronus mittens. Just really gorgeous. They've got a stag, they've got the Deathly Hallows, and just some pretty other bits of colour work on them. I think they're gorgeous. They're not too... They're obviously Harry Potter when you look at them, but if you were glancing or not a huge fan of the book, they just look like pretty mittens with like an interesting, you know, stag design. So they're not way out there being like Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. That being said, I got my sister a book called Harry Potter Knitting Magic. She doesn't knit. I was hoping I'd convince her to knit a little bit with it, but as part of the gift of that, I said, I will make you something from this book. And so I've been making, this isn't a free pattern that's on my list or anything, but I've been making, like, this is the start of the broomsticks, and so there's a scarf in there, but I'm making cushions. I've talked about that on my podcast before. And everything's next to me because my couch is filled with knitting stuff at the moment. But yeah, I think those mittens are really, really cool. Now, my personal favorite, just because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nerd, is this Fellowship of the Rings beanie. It is so cool. It has the Fellowship, you've clearly got, yeah, they're all walking across it and there's mountains behind them in the colour work. I think it's such a cool beanie, and the fact that it's a free pattern is really special. And the colour that they've chosen for it in the sample is phenomenal. So if you've got a real Lord of the Rings nerd in your family or friends and you want to make them something that's a little bit fun, a little bit special to them, this is a really good one. I really like it. The next two ones are a little small and they're a bit different because they're amigurumis. One is if your family member loves Star Wars. Now, this isn't typical Star Wars, but there's a free Baby Yoda pattern, and Baby Yoda is adorable. Anyway, I just think it's a really good, like, little pattern of Baby Yoda. So if they're a Star Wars or Mandalorian fan, there's Baby Yoda. The last one I have is just, again, something really cute that could go along with a gift, is these mini Triceratops crochet amigurumi. So is Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is also crochet. And I just think they're super cute, super small, nice things. Like, I'm a big dinosaur nerd as well. I've got dinosaurs around my house. and I like that one. It's just cute. There's other free triceratops or dinosaur knitting patterns or crochet patterns as well. This one's just a really cute small one. Maybe if you wanted to give someone something just to say, hey, I also made you something, a little small something, or a tiny little scrap buster. Well, that is, I probably went through that quickly because there's so many. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the list. There is plenty there. I'm gonna have fun editing this, putting all the photos and names in. I didn't speak about the names of the designers because this video would have gotten too long, but all of that detail will be in the description box below. And I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas, and whoever is lucky enough to get any gift knits from you is super happy and excited about what you've made for them and the effort that you've put in. So this has been a Christmassy themed sort of new video for me, and a nice pattern roundup. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Now I'm feeling pretty inspired as well, even though time is running out. So I'm going to edit this as quickly as possible and upload so that you could get onto gift knitting if you liked any of my suggestions. Okay, thanks. Bye.